Hi, welcome everybody. It's Mike Newton down here at a very cold Lytham Golf Academy on a very crisp November's evening here. And I'm going to do a little bit of shaft testing here with the driver. Okay, so I've got the Ping G400 driver and I've got three different shafts, three of their fitting shafts here. So these are different, they're all stiff flex, but they're all different weights. A little bit difference of launch, okay, and hopefully a little bit difference of spin. So maybe giving you guys an idea of maybe how different shafts, as in the weight, not so much the flexes, but more of the weight and the bend characteristics of it will change ball flight, spin numbers, which obviously we're going to measure through with GC2 HMT here. So I'm going to hit a batch of shots with each shaft, give you guys a little bit of feedback of feel, okay, as well as looking at some numbers and maybe see how the differences of shafts might just change performance of that golf ball. So the first shaft I'm going to use here is the Alta CB shaft. Okay, so this is their stock shaft that comes in. So coming in at 55 grams in weight. It's a mid sort of launching sort of shaft, and obviously it's one of their lighter offerings in a driver shafts. The next one I'm going to put in would be the Tour 65. Again, one of Ping's shafts here, which is a little bit more lower spinning. So this is a sort of a mid to low launch here. The weight of this is going up. This is 61 grams. Again, it's still stiff. Okay, so possibly seeing a slightly lower launch here, slightly lower spin of ball. And then I'm going to go into the Hazardous, Project X Hazardous here with yellow, which is again low spin. The weight of this is popping up now, so in stiff this is coming in at 71 grams, okay, which is coming out at a low launch. Okay, so again, different launches of golf ball, probably different spins, and we're going to have a look at some numbers on GC2. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Alta CB. So this is the lighter one, 55 grams, stiff flex, and this is the more sort of mid-launching shaft that Ping offers. So I'm hitting all these with the, obviously the G400 head here and the LST, so it's the low spin head, which is a little bit more suited to me, and I've got this in at 9 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to keep it, that's the same spec, same head for each of these shafts here. So we'll get this first one hit. Okay, not a bad strike, slightly low in the club face there, just a touch left, but not too bad a strike there. That's running out around that sort of 270 mark, not the longest there, it's probably spinning a bit. Yeah, 3,400 spin, okay, a little bit low in the face, going to spin that up a little bit. That's a better strike. Again, I've just turned that over there, just seem to be just slightly pulling these with a little bit of draw. Better strike there, so you see that's getting out 282. I'm guessing my spin might be a little bit lower there. Yeah, just, only just, but still a high number there. So 3,200 spin there. So clearly this shaft, you know, for me, with my sort of speed, it's a bit too soft in that tip section. It generated a little bit more spin there than what I need, so I'm obviously more suited to something else. But again, this comparison really is just to show the differences maybe between the shafts, if there is any differences. I'm sure there will be, in terms of what it can do with that golf ball. Every golf is different, you know, so again, everybody's a different speed, everybody's delivery is very different, and this is why manufacturers are offering a lot of shaft options through custom fit to try and find a shaft that suits your characteristics really, delivery and strike. Okay, good, that was a straight to goal shot there. Again, definitely seeing that sort of higher flight. It just looks to be climbing here. I'm guessing that's spinning again a little bit too much. That's carrying 254, 3,400 spin. Okay, so clearly this shaft isn't suiting my delivery, my speed there. Maybe a little bit harder to control dispersion. Okay, but let's switch over. Let's go into the Tour 65 here. So this is going to be slightly heavier, slightly lower spinning, if we do see that. And we'll have a look at some numbers with that. Right, so now I've got Tour 65 in the same head here. So this is, again, stiff flex. It's weighing in at 61 grams, so a little bit heavier than the Alta CB. And its profile is a little bit more sort of mid to low on the launch. So again, we're going to look at these launch numbers and maybe see what it does to spin also. So we'll get this first one hit. Okay, so decent strike, definitely seeing a slightly lower flight there. Okay, so the weights, probably just feeling a little bit heavier there. Not a lot, probably a little bit more under the hands more than anything there, but not a massive amount, so I still feel like I can get some real speed sort of through the shot there, but it does feel a little bit more stable in the way it's sort of flexing. It doesn't feel like the head's waving around as much there. Oh, that's a super strike. Yeah, definitely seeing that flight coming more that way off the club face, and it doesn't look like it's climbing, so that's a longer hit there, 296, so straight away you see some more distance there, and that's spinning at 2,600. So this spin's coming down a little bit here, and I'm definitely seeing that in the initial flight. It'd be interesting to look at peak height here when we do look at some numbers, how different that would be from that Alta CB. Visually, it's a massive difference there. Okay, so again, straightish hit. I've hit that lower in the face. Purely because of strike there, that just climbed a little bit. So yeah, bit of drop off there. Be interested to look at spin number here. Got a feeling that will creep up a little bit. Yeah, 3,100. So not as high as obviously the Alta CB, but again, just goes to show strike can change these numbers quite a bit. But then again, the shaft can help these numbers not to be too high if you do miss the strike. Okay, so going to switch over now to the hazardous yellow Project X. Again, stiff flex, and we'll hit the 3 shots with that. Okay, right, so as I say, hazardous from Project X in the same head now here. So weight's gone up again here, so into 71 gram here. This is stiff, okay, and obviously the characteristics of this shaft is more of a low launch, okay. So I think straight away there as I pick it up, you know, obviously without even swinging it, just getting the club in my hands, I can feel that extra weight there. Definitely more up into the handle here, and the overall weight of it just feels that little bit heavier. Okay, I'm quite interested to see what this is. I think this will be a little bit more suited to my swing here, but let's have a look. So we'll get this first one hit. Okay, that's a super strike there. Really looks like a powerful ball flight there. So carrying around high 270s, running out. Ooh, just short of 300. Really good strike there. Look at that spin number there. So 2,600. So really good. Well, getting better anyway. Spin number there for me. Okay, that felt pretty good there. That's launched a little bit higher there. Maybe just didn't quite strike that as good as others. Still getting out there, sort of 291. I'm guessing that spin's going to creep up a little bit there, just because of strike. Oh, it hasn't, so just under 2,600. Very similar strike there. Sorry, spin number there, should I say. Okay, yeah, again, I've hit that a little bit low. It's come out a bit low on the launch there. That's not the shaft, that was a little bit more strike there. 277, not the best of strikes there. Spin 2,600, so it's control. Even though with that low strike there, it's keeping that spin under control a little bit. Okay, right, let's go and check some numbers out, a little bit more detail, and see if there's any differences between those 3 shafts. Okay, so let's look at some numbers. So Alta CB at top, Tour 65 hazardous here. So we'll look at some ball speeds, very sort of similar there. Club head speed's just jumped around a tiny bit. Ball speed's very similar. Launch is a little bit on the low with all of them. That's more my delivery. I need to improve my angle of attack and trying to deliver a little bit more sort of dynamic loft there, really. But these are the important ones here, the spin numbers here. So you can see the Alta CB averaged at 3,400. The Tour came down to 2.9, just under 3,000 on average, and then the hazardous there at 2.6. So interesting there, because like I said, there's a couple probably low in the strike with each one of those shafts there, which is my general miss. If I'm going to miss it, I'll hit it low in the face. But that really helps control the spin with the hazardous there. Definitely that little bit firmer in that tip section. That little bit of extra weight, stability there is definitely suiting my speed a little bit more. So looking at peak height, you see 30 against 24 and 24. okay, and then distance numbers 254 carry, 261, 261. So that last one, that low in the strike, has just killed my averages really on that last particular shot there. You can see 274, 265 were really sort of healthy numbers there. Okay guys, so there we see three very different shafts, different weights, all the same flex, but different weights and different characteristics of what it's doing with that spin number there, and obviously that gives some very different results. So this is the whole reason why we want to get custom fit nowadays, is because there's a lot more of these shaft options out there available. And you know, sometimes you can read up on these shafts and this shaft does this, does that, but it all depends on your delivery, your tendency, your strike pattern, your speed, okay, and every speed's different. So it's really trying to fine tune something that works for you, as in number wise, but also a feel. Feel's massively important. You know, if you get something there, it might hit some good numbers, but it feels awful in your hands, it's probably not a good, it's not a good scenario really. So it's got to feel good at the end of the day as well. Okay, interesting little test there. Let me know your thoughts down there. If you've gone through this sort of process fitting wise in terms of weights and shafts, do let me know. Do hook up on my social media platforms. All the links in the description down below. Obviously hit that subscribe button. You know, really appreciate you doing that. Obviously a lot more videos coming your way, and hopefully I'll catch up with you all very soon.